Hey, artists. We are going to talk about eyes on the future. I call this unit that because it sounds cool. Also, because our focus is on eyes and what you already know and who you are as an artist. So, your future, possibly as a real artist. Let's get into this project. So, you already know how to draw and shade realistically. You already know how artists develop their style from looking at other famous artists. And you know how to use many art materials. You know colored pencils, markers, paint, collage, mixed media, probably a whole bunch of other stuff not even included there. So, the purpose of this unit is not to teach you a bunch of new things, but instead to let you choose from what you already know and you are already good at, and to portray your eyes in a style and material that represents your artistic self. So instead of doing my style using my assignment, you are giving a very bare bones sort of statement, and you are going to run with it and make it your own. So, what you must do is on the left, you need to draw or depict your own eyes, not general eyes, not famous person's eyes, your actual eyes. So, you can work from a mirror or from a photograph of your eyes. You must use the entire space given to you. It's not going to be a huge piece of paper, because we are going to essentially go for life size, and the eye space on your face is really not that huge. And you need to demonstrate skills appropriate to an 8th grade advanced artist. So if you're going to tell me that you're not an 8th grader or you're not advanced, okay, you need to demonstrate at least those skills or maybe more. But you can choose your materials. All those things we talked about that I know that you know how to use. And you also choose your own composition and style in the way that you start off with this prompt. So remember, eyes, you take it from there. So most people would think of something like this as their inspiration. You can see in the bottom right, it is a collage. Notably, a lot of parts and pieces. That would be very complicated, but a lovely collage nonetheless. The other two images with eyes focus a lot on realistic depiction, but if you look at the one on the left, they've used a pattern paper as their basis. The top right is mixing in a little bit of surrealism. It looks like we almost have a starry sky there at the bottom. But it doesn't also have to be realistic. So these images are also based off eyes, but they have used them in entirely different ways. So your goal here is to show your style and what you are good at and who you are as an artist, what makes you distinctive and stand out. And so if your artwork stands out for its bright use of colors, then I don't want you to focus on realistic skin tones, but use bright colors, for example. So now you have to plan this out. You need to think about what is your style. That may be the hardest question you have to answer today. What art materials are you actually best with? And then what can you accomplish in the time given? So you are planning this out, not the teacher. Grab your project planning sheet and let's get started. First thing you need to answer is your artwork style. So describe the things that make your art style unique, things you love to do, things you're very good at doing. That's how you describe your style. Circle the materials you want to use for this project. Your options are pencil, markers, colored pencil, collage papers, watercolor paint, or acrylic paint. Anything else would be by request and special permission only. Check with me if I have it or if you're going to provide it, if it's allowed to be used in our room. And the following resources that you will need to help you create your artwork. So a mirror to look at your eyes, a photographic reference of your eyes or something else you may be drawing, YouTube videos for instructions, and or books. Here's what I wrote from mine. So my style, because my master's degree is focusing partially on crafts, I really love stitching and embroidery, especially onto paper. So I plan to stitch onto my paper. I really like natural colors and elements from nature. I take a lot of photographs of flowers. I love Zentangle patterns and mixed media, close-ups on eyes, so that will perfectly work for me. I'm thinking of using markers and collage papers and thread. So notice I added in my own material there that I would need to get special permission for. I do also need a photographic reference of my eyes to be able to draw from. I find that easier than a mirror. Now you're going to sketch out your plan. So after you've thought through all those things, let's see what it might look like. Here is my sketch. I want to focus on those eyes, but I want to add in those designs around them. Where I've used marker, those are the colors I think I want to use, but those would be stitches. They would be thread sewn into the paper. My background is blank. That's something I need to think about. It can't just be white paper. So I need to decide what is going to be happening around those eyes and those stitching patterns. On the back of your planning sheet, important details in your artwork. So what are things you need to definitely make sure to include? Colors that will be important in your work, and things you still have to consider. My important details are the sewn on designs. That's really important to my style and who I am. And the green eyes, because I've always loved my own green eyes. Colors would go with those green eyes. So cool colors, blue, green, and purple, I tend to favor in my life. So they are very me and represent me well. And things I haven't considered are my background. So I might do a collage paper and then draw the eyes on top, or just do some cool tone colored pencil. I have not actually decided where that's going to go yet. Now, again, you are more in charge of your work. You need to think of the steps that you will need to create your work and the time that they will each take. So begin to list out those steps in the order that they need to happen, probably starting with your background first, and the time that each one will take so that you can work accordingly through the project to complete it on time. Here are my steps. I need to decide on background, so I got to make that decision real quick, whether it's colored pencil or collage. I only think it should take me about 30 minutes. Then I'm going to draw the eyes in pencil first and trace it in a really bold black marker. Another 30 minutes. I need to get through that beginning part quickly because notice I know from experience that sewing designs takes a long time. So I need at least 90 minutes, but honestly, probably more like 2 hours to do that. I might end up having to work on this extra outside of class. But then I think I will be done. I may have to come back to this plan and add a few things as I work because I might find something I've missed. But this is what I think is going to get me over the finish line. You go ahead and plan how your project is going to go and let me know when you're done.